Alright, good afternoon, backseaters. It's Wednesdays with the CAT team. I'm Deputy Thomas Siegelstrom. I've been out with you a few times. I have a new rider with me. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, everybody. My name is James Chin. I'm part of the Intel unit here with Ramsey County. I've been with the department for
2415.
a little over 19 years now. I worked in the jail for a while, patrol, transports, courts, and now I'm part of the Intel unit. So it's be good riding with you guys today.
How long have you been in law enforcement?
I've been in law enforcement, well, with Ramsey County for 19 years. I was a reserve for Washington County for about 3 years as well, so about 22 years total.
Okay. Well, he's going to hopefully teach us some things today. As he said, he's the Intel unit, so he's the smart guy in the car.
Well, I'm learning to be the smart guy.
Yeah. We're in St. Paul, Minnesota, Ramsey County, for anyone who may have not watched before, with Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, carjacking and auto theft team. Currently right now just down off of 52 in Plato in St. Paul, and we're going to try to venture onto the east side. Kind of fill you in on some stuff that's going on in the streets and see if we can replicate what Under Sheriff Mike Martin did the other day.
Get a quick one. What's that one?
John Mayer Victor 702. So you might have saw that was a Kia with a busted out window, taped up. We'll run it, but we do see a lot of the times people can't always afford to replace their window if they just have liability. You know, it's not the cheapest thing. So that car was clear. It's always worth a check. Jim broke my computer.
Minimized.
It minimized?
Yeah.
There you go. So we'll head into East St. Paul. Monday, you guys may have saw Under Sheriff Mike Martin found that Kia, made a great stop, followed it for a long time without it fleeing, so we could learn some things from him on that one. Took the guy into custody, had a catalytic converter and possible suspected narcotics, so we'll get those tested and go from there. Monday previously, probably, what do you think, Jim? 20, 30 minutes before that stop?
Yep.
Myself, I was up in Dayton's Bluff area, just doing routine patrol with our unit, picking some areas to kind of saturate, look for stolens. I was at 3rd and Forest when I saw a Hyundai with a busted out window catch my eye. Turned around on it, caught up to it. As the vehicle was pulling into the Dayton's Bluffs Rec Center, I was able to confirm it was a Robbinsdale stolen vehicle. Coordinated with my other partners in the CAT team, kept eyes on it. Once Deputy Williams and Deputy Kill responded, we were able to conduct a VIT, or a box-in. You'll hear us say sometimes, just common language, but law enforcement language, what we use is vehicle interdiction technique, or intervention technique. Essentially, we're looking to block that vehicle in as many sides as we can. In this case, it was backed in against a snowbank. We coordinated 3 sides, someone taking the front, and then the others taking the passenger and driver side, and blocking that vehicle in to prevent a pursuit. Just because we prevent the vehicle from fleeing doesn't mean they'll flee on foot, which happened. The adult driver bailed out the window and led myself on I wouldn't say it was a super long chase, but foot chase down Maple and Euclid, and I got him behind an alleyway. 2 in custody. Wasn't stolen for very long, so it was a good apprehension. My team responded pretty good, and St. Paul was there to help out as well, so thanks to them.
Thomas is one of the fastest guys in the CAT unit, so he's young and spry and can catch up to these guys.
I know. We were talking about that the other day. I think Joe Kill might. I haven't raced him, but I've seen him run.
Joe's pretty fast.
But he did bail out on this one. He ran back to his squad to get his squad to come respond. He was behind me for a little bit.
Maybe he was tired.
No, we didn't know how long it was gonna go, and unfortunately, you don't know how close St. Paul is for backup. They always want to come and help. They're awesome in that, but I could have been running for a while without a squad responding. So it was a smart move on him.
I'm trying to bring up the feed here so I can get any questions you guys have.
358, cancel
It's
that.
not loading on my phone.
That's fine.
You got yours.
358, copy.
we're kind of fiddling. Jim's going to kind of watch the comments. We'll try to answer any questions that you guys may have. We'll kind of update you on what's going on. Do you want to kind of update them on current events as far as St. Paul, Ramsey County in the last day or so?
We had a couple of carjackings. We had the two in Ramsey County in our contract cities that just the other day that was involved with the whole dog incident, getting thrown out of the vehicle. St. Paul had another one yesterday morning, or earlier this morning, where they had stolen a vehicle, carjacked the vehicle, crashed it, and then ran in and broke into a house, and St. Paul was able to apprehend the suspects at that point in time.
So on that one, obviously we don't have the report, but just kind of reading the comments. Sounds like they're dispatched to a vehicle, loud music, as Jim said. It was, it was after midnight, early morning hours. They responded to the area, and two males took off on foot. Where they were located, two firearms, it sounds like, was recovered. One with an auto sear.
Yep.
One of the suspects was apprehended. The other one did carjack somebody. He didn't make it very far, crashed. State helicopter was overhead. Kept eyes on that suspect. Bail into a house. St. Paul took him into custody. So, great job as always. They got two guys off the street and two guns. So,
Now you were commenting that it's beautiful outside. Yes, it is. It's pushing 40 degrees here. And if you're not from Minnesota, 40 degrees is wonderful this time of year for us. We're used to being a heck of a lot colder. And the other ones that are asking who's in the car with Thomas, that if you're just joining, my name's Deputy James Chin. I work in the Intel unit. We do a lot of work with the CAT team, assist them on a daily basis. Again, I've been with the department for quite a while, 19 years. So
Jim trained me in at the main courthouse when I first started.
Yep.
He was kind of a staple there after he FTO'd. And I think he went down there, right?
Yep. Stayed on patrol for a while and then switched back down to the courthouse.
Bear with us with the windshield. I did clean it. I did a good job, but everything's starting to melt, and vehicles will spray it up onto the windshield. So I'll try to monitor it. If you guys comment and it looks a little filthy, let us know.
What kind of tires do we use?
Tires?
Snow tires. Not really sure what the county garage is.
The assortment in the past, I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee. In the winter they'll put wind, and then swap. I think it depends on the vehicles. We operate a large amount of various vehicles, Tahoes, Explorers. I imagine it with running.
Oh yeah.
They have to be on the pursuit rated. There has to be. I know they're using a specific. I couldn't tell you specifically using that.
No question. What happened with the individual that Mike Martin arrested the other day? He's in custody. Maybe they'll go and spray paint it or put a tag on it that if it's taken to a junkyard for sale, they won't accept it, and it's a deterrent from them to going out and stealing them as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's just been an ongoing issue. When I was on patrol, it was a daily occurrence. If you work day shift, you were getting multiple.
It's a little bit laggy. Yeah. Another answer to the question: studded tires here in Minnesota.
It'd be interesting, though.
Yeah.
So, kind of tell some backseaters for your duties in Intel. Kind of what are your focal points?
Yep, I assist. Do a lot of looking through social media. I do a lot of checking on court cases for our known criminals that we've had contact with. Checking on what's happening with them, if they're staying in custody, if they get released, what the status is, if they get put on probation, electronic monitoring, anything of that nature. I tend to keep track of that quite a bit. That's running a vehicle quick.
Just very beat up.
Yep.
45 with two arriving.
And you assist us. You're out on the street a lot with us.
Yeah. Yep, I go out and, especially if someone's out sick or has a vacation day, I'll jump in and assist the cat guys. Most of the Intel unit does that on a daily basis. We'll go out and assist with, towing vehicles, transporting anything that's needed, just to keep them on the streets as long as possible.
And we appreciate it.
We like coming out and helping you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2265.
Get back off these side streets.
St. Paul side streets are terrible, as I'm sure you've seen Bob and Pat talk about. It's like driving in ruts.
It is, but the problem is that's where you'll find stolen. So pick and choose. We'll try to stay off those roads right now, unless we need to.
Just want to take one round.
So Bennett, I dare say, been pretty quiet so far, right?
So far.
Today, as far as Ramsey County goes, obviously with the nicer weather, you would imagine we'll see an uptick in stolens. But I will say, as far as the winter weather has gone, you see an uptick in carjackings in the winter, but I feel like we're seeing more as well than last year at this time.
Yes.
The colder months, we'd have days where we could go a while without finding one. Right now, they're everywhere. So if you're doing your job, you can find them.
Make sure the Wi-Fi's up.
It might have ended.
Portland Avenue in the lower unit. Originally started out
We're
as
still-
calling you via her neighbor.
Call
her
me, sir.
boyfriend. And
Control on these program.
Let's see.
It might have ended. Trying to fix the connection. I might have ended it. Gonna have the two smart guys deal with it.
We are still live. Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you,
perfect.
sir.
So, making some adjustments. We don't want buffering. You might try to up. Put on the. Anything else, crime-wise?
Not right now. We got suspected spam calling my personal phone. I don't want to talk to them.
No.
Sure, it's about my car's warranty. No, today has been. When I get in the morning, I go through and look to see what happened
Can you give me just a minute?
the previous night. If there's any follow-up that the day shift cat team needs to deal with. The last night wasn't an overly terrible night. There was 4 or 5 reported stolens. The day before, there was quite a few.
No further check needed.
So far, I started at 7 o'clock this morning, and so far we've only had a couple, and there's been a few recovered as well. People are saying that it's worse. Is your Wi-Fi turned off on this?
Yeah.
Make sure mine's turned off on my phone. It looks good now. Perfect.
Okay. So a lot of, during the day, we kind of monitor everything, stolens, any violent crimes. A lot of calls for service right now, accidents, parking complaints. Nothing too crazy. Still seeing a lot of Hyundais and Kias stolen. Generally, those are dumped pretty fast. They don't have them for long, which is unfortunate. They go and damage people's property, and then they recycle it and go and steal someone else's car.
Yep. There was one vehicle that I was reading. He reported his car stolen, and there was another stolen vehicle in his parking spot.
Yeah, those. Is that Target?
I think so. Yeah.
So they'll steal them in business parking lots. Middle of the day, evening. Fortunately, it doesn't take very long for those ones. So I know a lot of people are using the steering wheel clubs. Any prevention you can do, park them in a garage at night, especially if it's on the street and it's dark. You're just leaving it open. That was one from earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
I recommend that if you have a vehicle that you do not have a security system on, to get some sort of a security system on it, a way to track it. That helps us immensely. If your car is stolen and you're filing a report, let them know right away if it's trackable, and give permission for it to be tracked so that we can do that right away. We'll monitor the radio, and if we hear that a vehicle's trackable, one of us in the intel unit will get a hold of the RO, start tracking going, and have our CAT team out there giving them constant updates as to where the vehicle is. It helps us immensely to recover your vehicle and take those suspects into custody.
The best thing we can do is find a stolen vehicle occupied, because then there's some ramifications. We find a lot of them unoccupied. Unfortunately, for the most part, unless there's other specifics that we can add to the case, it's tough to get any charges out of an unoccupied stolen. And then, we're getting the car back, but it's not stopping the process of them stealing other cars. So
I don't think the CAT team, I have a question here. Do you have a friendly competition between two shifts to see who can get the most stuff? Thomas, I'll let you answer that.
Sure. You always want to put numbers up. I don't think that's fully developed per se yet. We all just got back. For the most part, day shift hasn't been everybody back off baby leave, while afternoons has been here.
Yep.
So that I think we're just getting into the swing of things. We got Joe Kill back from baby leave, so friendly competition's always good.
A lot of new babies in the CAT team with Tony, Joe, Kyle, Thomas, plus Fran from our intel unit just had a kid. It's they're future CAT team members.
Yeah, absolutely. It's no secret, obviously. Night, you get some more activity. A lot of these guys that are stealing them, juveniles, they run around at night into the early hours. A lot of the times, the beginning of our shifts, that group is probably sleeping off the night before. But with the intel we get from Chin and his partners, like I said, you're not really doing your job if we're out here looking and we can't find one a day if we have a full team out looking. So they're there. It's just knowing where to find them. So we'll kind of carry on to the Central District, up and down Rice Street.
What is the method you see most used to jack a car and start it?
Well, carjacking or just an auto theft?
I think they're talking auto theft.
It depends on the car, really. Probably the most stolen cars are ones left running. I think Minneapolis just posted something on their Twitter recently. There's like 700 auto thefts one of the months, and they kind of broke it down to carjackings, and they kind of stipulation at the bottom. They said the most stolen cars are ones left running. I know who we do the grant through, Commerce. That's a big talking point they want us to get out in the public. You know, do not leave your car running. Everyone thinks, oh, you know, it's not going to happen to me. I'm just running in real quick. They're out there looking. They're, you know, the people that are stealing cars are very good at identifying cars to steal. And they see an unoccupied car that's running, they are going to check those doors, and you might be coming out to a car that's gone. Kias and Hyundais obviously busting the windows. You know, there's other cars that have certain features that enable it to be stolen easier. Obviously carjackings, but I'd have to wager if you ran the numbers in the state, it's cars left running or with keys in the vehicle. Yep. Don't leave your keys in your center console. Even if you park in the garage, a lot of people do that. They'll leave their keys in there, but then they have a car or kid's car with a garage door opener parked in the driveway.
Yep.
They bust that window, now they're into your garage and they're taking your car.
Yep. I have informed my drivers not to leave the garage door opener in the vehicle when it's parked on the driveway, because I don't need to wake up and have someone in my house.
Yep.
It's a crime of opportunity for people. If you're going out and starting your car, I get it, it's cold in Minnesota, but I recommend getting an auto start. I have an auto start on my wife's vehicle that when I get in, I press the brake, it turns off. So
yeah, which I wouldn't trust that. Not everything's foolproof.
Nope.
A lot of people think with the key fobs, if they start it, it won't run. It's false for a lot of cars. Don't be led to believe just because you have the key fob in your pocket, your car's not going to be gone. So, also on that note, for any gun owners, do not leave your guns in your vehicles.
Yes.
Whether the car gets stolen or broken into, we see a lot of guns on the street for that reason. You know, a lot of people are like, I lock it in my glove compartment, or I keep it in there so when I'm out and about, you know, I own this business, or I travel to these areas. If you have a gun, it should be on your person or locked in a safe.
Yes.
So, around from our rifle.
Natural Hill Squad, go again.
Be advised, you can show me on a VSG.
Trying to figure out what that radio traffic was. I think he meant to be on his
Natural Hill Squad, go again.
car to car, but we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
Not seeing any.
accidental communication at the range.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
exactly.
So they're out at the range
Sounds good.
doing their thing. So
Watching from Ontario, Canada.
Canada. Minnesota's kind of like Canada's younger cousin.
Right? Just a little south of it. Just as cold.
Not colder, isn't Minneapolis one of the colder
Yeah,
areas?
I believe so. I think Canada's just like Minnesota. It's just I don't know if it's as highly populated, but
I've never been. I can't speak. I've always wanted to go fishing there. I have my dad and grandpa used to go up fishing quite a bit. They'd take seaplanes into resorts. I think that'd be awesome, but just haven't got around to it.
another thing that I wanted to bring up. A lot of people have Ring cameras, and like me, I have a Ring camera system, and I don't pay to have the subscription so that my video records. My plan is to get that set up, because you just never know. I've gone to a lot of...
Catch this plate when we see it. It's gonna be right up here.
It's plate.
We'll grab it.
Split 2 for 7230.
Sorry, we're just reading comments on our CAD.
230.
Bunch of interviews to last, and then would open lines, some through the mail, some about arguing with each other.
Let's see.
There was a domestic there a couple of days ago between a native female
Have you seen it?
No?
named Winter Smith and a male named Mackenzie Rollins.
Unless it's this one.
It says Sedan.
copy. House one.
Right here, on your left. MKE194.
Yeah, westbound 36.
Yes, sir.
35W. Charles
And out on LOP right now.
Code 4.
Live on patrol with Chin. No? As of now. Is there something? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
looking at some information on the CAD right now.
Alright, I'll give you a shout when we're done here. Alright. Alright, bye.
26 mark.
Clear. Okay. Sorry, we were just monitoring
30.
calls on CAD. One popped where we were near. Checking on a car.
230 copy. Thank you.
No, back to what I was saying. If you have a Ring camera and you have the means to pay for the subscription for it, it would help. I've gone to a lot of different houses where people have Ring cameras, but it doesn't record. We've had vehicles dropped off directly in front of houses that there's Ring cameras on the door, but they don't pay the subscription to have it record, which would help us. It would help you as well if your vehicle's being stolen.
Help others by doing it.
Yep.
Because you might end up helping out a neighbor, had something occur at their house, and you catch something valuable. Video is a huge tool for law enforcement. We rely on it heavily because there are a lot of crimes that are not witnessed. So we have to go back and try to scrub for video, and that's a big thing we do after something occurs. We'll go canvass neighborhoods. So that is a good point. But you've gotten pretty good at dealing with businesses
Yep.
on the intel.
Yep. Go around to a lot of businesses and get video footage from inside, outside, from convenience stores to fast food restaurants.
Yep.
It's always a great help when they have good camera footage.
Absolutely.
Didn't know you had to pay for anything. Yeah, they give you a free. It's 60 or 90 days. You can use your Ring camera to see who's at your door and talk to them. It just does not record the footage
Yeah.
once that free trial expires. So you have to pay for that. I want to say it's like $1.99, something like that. It's not very expensive. Not very expensive to have a camera on your house.
No, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper.
Yep.
But
I bought mine a few years ago and installed it. Had to mess around with the settings for a while because I was sick of getting woken up just for a rabbit running in front of the house.
You are in Lakeville.
Chin's tip for the day.
Yeah. I'm not as good as Pat as reading your comments, but
Area check
I'm doing my
1824
best.
clearance. I'm suspicious for a male walking around the area. Pulled up to the caller's driveway, was asking questions about the neighbors.
C4 pickup, white male, 50 years old, thin build. Carjack inclusions.
Backseaters.
This is the medics on this is 724 Emerald Bridge West.
I'm being reminded that Valentine's Day is coming up, so if you're planning on buying your loved one something, it's coming up quickly.
Oh, I didn't forget. I got something planned for my wife, Megan. We'll see. It gets tougher and tougher each year, though. For anniversaries, birthdays.
Yep. I've been married for 19 years now, so.
One thing, we got 3 kids now. Trying to focus maybe a little more on trips as like a family.
Yep.
More experience than anything.
9684.
But with young kids, it is tough to travel. But
9684.
we just got into the Disney World phase with our 2 oldest. Now we have an infant, so
3230
we'll see.
Orchard Court.
We'll be taking a nice trip coming up to the Virgin Islands.
30 Orchard.
Me and my wife and kids, and my brother-in-law, his wife and kids. So
Just give me a ticket.
I'm gonna stuff you in the suitcase so you can come with. The house we rented sleeps 9. We got 8 of us coming, so
Wow. It's a big house.
yeah.
What island?
We are going to be on St. John's.
Okay.
Sorry, yes, St. John's, because we're right on Park Bay.
Okay.
Overlooks the ocean. We have a nice stairway that goes down to the ocean. I don't know how often I'm going to travel it because it's 220 steps. So I might make it down and not make it back up.
247 on the clock.
You're not that old.
Copy
No, but I'm going to come back with my legs are going to look like Popeye's arms.
It's all right.
Oh, your wife's in law enforcement. My wife is not in law enforcement. Thomas's wife is not either.
No. I met my wife pre-law enforcement. Kind of had my eyes set on it, went to school. So she at least knew what she was getting into. She comes from a family of firefighters, so, you know, she grew up, her dad was a deputy fire chief for Maplewood, which is a suburb in Ramsey County. So she was kind of used to at dinner table, all of a sudden a call drops and he's out the door. Lifestyle. Obviously, I try not to do that too much, but given our job and nature with carjackings, if your partner's responding, I always feel like I owe it to them to be there, especially if it's a gun use. So, no, yeah, I don't know if I could be married to another cop.
No.
Because when I leave here, I try not to let this job define who I am.
GOA.
Little feedback on his radio there.
But once I get off, I'm a dad, a husband. I'm just me. ETS 599. It can be taking the job home with you, especially if, you know, trying to navigate daily lives of raising a family. So I try not to.
Oh, that comes back. It's never mind.
No, that's a different plane.
Way down.
That's okay. So, okay.
Just didn't delete the other ones.
LEC, Hilton Mill, miles 9899.
How about you? Were you in law enforcement already when you met your wife?
I was not. I was actually I met my wife when I worked at a grocery store, and we dated for quite a few years. Got married. I went to school, became a graphic designer for about 5 years. Between the grocery store and graphic design, I worked at the Ford plant. I was at work at the graphic design studio, and there was an ad in the paper for Ramsey County hiring a correctional officer, so I applied. Got hired there. I worked in the jail for 11 years. I spent 4 years as a line staff correctional officer, 7 years as a sergeant down there, and decided to put myself through school and come back see things on the other side. I have a lot of respect for all of my partners that work in the jail. It's a tough job. It's a very thankless job. You deal with the people on their worst. For these guys to last as long as they do, for you know, many of us that lasted as long as we did in the jail, it's a good thing to step up, that want that.
Learn something every day about you.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you know a correctional officer, thank them. It's the least publicized job in law enforcement, but they're the ones that when someone commits a crime, you know, victimizes you, they're the ones that essentially and keeping them off the streets and keeping our community safe, right? I only did 2 years. I don't know. The guys that do it a career, they are, especially with some of the worst people society has to offer. On the other end, people do make mistakes, and you're dealing with some people that it's now the worst day of their lives.
Yes.
They, you know, drove drunk, got in a bar fight, and it's their first time being in, and they're not used to that environment, and that can be a big shock, especially younger people. So, if you know a correctional officer, tell them thank you. I know I appreciate everybody.
Yep. We have it. We get to arrest them now and drop them off, and they're the ones in there taking care of them. So we need a lot more people interested in that career, because the county's always looking for people.
1339.
Let's see. Well, guess we're just not as talented as Under Sheriff Martin.
No.
We're looking.
Call them and ask them for some tips.
Yeah. I mean, when we're live with you guys, it's like we're put on the spot. We want to find stuff, but sometimes our job's right place, right time. There's always luck involved in it, just being in the right spot. But we do have the info to give us good chances, but it's tough to line that up when being live. So let's see.
These comments are going fast.
Yeah. You gotta be Johnny on the spot.
Any relation to a Don Siegelstrom?
Don.
This person knew a Don, same last name, a long time ago. Any relation?
It's Donnie. It might be my dad's uncle.
There you go.
Yeah. Siegelstrom is, from my understanding, actually, Donnie kind of traced it and had met people over in Sweden and Norway. I'm pretty sure Siegelstrom's a made-up name, so anyone with that name is going to be a relation in Minnesota, or I think Wisconsin too. We have that last name, so I get to ask. It's not a lot, but especially my dad had cousins going to Johnson and stuff, so it's always a relation. But can't say I'm super close with a lot of my dad, unless they're my dad's siblings. I don't know a lot of them.
237.
And I mean, it is a funny last name to say. I think Bob laughs when he tries to call me via Siri.
Oh, yeah.
Because she cannot pronounce it.
Well,
Siegelstrom.
I got news for you. I have your name typed into my phone too, and it added a W for some reason. Siegelstrom. So anytime I try to spell it correctly to call you, it says you're not found.
So, I guess to go into a little more what the CAT team does. We just keep growing. But our first and foremost is look for carjacked cars, stolen cars. Someone asked. I think someone asked if my grandpa had a dog. Yeah. I just got a question. My grandpa had a dog named Tin Can. That's a true story. He lived up in Sauk Center in his later years. We had a cabin up there, and then he actually had to go into a nursing home in town, and he had this little Pomeranian he'd carry around with him in his jean jacket, and he named him, I think he wanted to name him something else, but Tin Can was a little more appropriate than Beer Can, I think. So yeah, he had a little Pom. It was 4 pounds. And if you know my grandpa, he raised a lot of cane back in his day, in his later years. So anyone that knew him up in Sauk Center generally knew Marv. But yeah, that's funny. Someone asked. Tin Can died quite a while ago. I think a couple of years before my grandpa passed. But grandpa passed a couple of years back, and I could go into a lot of stories about him. He's a funny guy. Kind of back to what we were talking about. Jealous. So, CAT team, we're always on the street monitoring the radio, carjackings, stolen vehicles. If we're out and we happen to hear robberies, shootings, things like that, we'll try to be there to lend any assistance. But our main goal is stolen vehicles, carjackings. Not only are we out looking for them, we're the investigators on the case. So once we make an arrest, we're now following it through charging, dealing with the county attorneys, and kind of seeing that case through the end. A lot of balls are kind of juggled in that end. You might be having to write a bunch of search warrants on the back end to kind of clean some stuff up. Search warrants on the front end for info that Intel is, digging up for us. So it's different every day. I don't come in with a schedule or a game plan. It's just kind of whatever is on the docket. I feel like we got to be very agile in the fact that we could be doing something 1 minute and completely dropping it and running out because a carjacking or now a stolen is being followed. So keeps us on our toes. It keeps the job fun, but you always got to come back and clean the stuff up you dropped. So
I can attest to that. I've seen these guys in the middle of writing reports or middle of meetings. Something comes out over the radio and they jump up and get out there. So it's we've got a really good group of guys working between the CAT unit and the intelligence unit. Probably one of the best groups that I have ever worked with in my time in law enforcement. So everyone gets along. We all can laugh and joke, but when it gets down to time for business, we understand pretty much how each other works, which is nice.
I love when they have the plate up top. Frank William King 003.
61 Tango Control.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest success is they pulled us from, between Intel and us, we're all from different departments, different units. Most of us, I won't say that any of us were really close. They just kind of threw together bodies and it worked. It's just one of those things that we just work well together. We all have different personalities. There's no, say everyone's pretty humble too, so.
Worst part of the job.
Worst part of the job.
They said paperwork.
Yeah, that it can be paper, but that is the job though. Arresting them is the easy, not the easy part, but you arrest them, it could be a 5-minute ordeal, and the paperwork, I don't know, it can get long, but it's necessary, especially what we do for the investigation side. But wearing all the equipment, I don't know, gets uncomfortable
in the summertime.
In the summertime, or if you're in a squad for a car with all this gear on for a long period of time, I don't care how able-bodied you are, you're gonna feel it.
Oh yeah.
It's just, this stuff is not meant to be worn as consistently as I think we do. But how about you for Intel?
Well, when I first started, it was trying to figure things out. Because I started with Fran and Joe, who have just knowledge like crazy in their heads.
This guy's doing.
And coming from the jail, I recognized people and names, but my time in the jail until now, the names of the people have kind of changed. They've gotten younger. We still deal with some of the same that I was dealing with when I was in the jail, but me, it's just been, I'm not the young guy I used to be, and my brain isn't as, I think it's more full of pointless stuff when trying to put all this new information in. That's my toughest part, but lots of help down there, and if I have a question, anyone's willing to step in and assist. So I've only been in the CAT team, or the Intel unit for not even a year yet, so I'm still the new guy down there for the most part.
And, I guess that brings up a good point. That is probably one of the harder things in law enforcement, right? you come on, you FTO, and you start getting good at being on patrol or whatever aspect you're in. And I can't imagine any cop likes being, well, let's say you're not as proficient at something, right?
Yeah.
And as you get there, you're now you because we do try to push ourselves. You apply for a new team or unit,
Yep.
and now you're the new guy again. You feel like you're always behind on the ball. But we got a good department in that aspect that the veteran staff on each unit, each team, is going to work with those guys and get them up to speed. It's a weird feeling like you cannot figure it out, but I like being challenged. I know most cops do too.
Yes. This has been, a great challenge, great learning experience.
I got it.
Going down there and because I worked courts for a long time, and I learned the court system very well, and you tend to not think about the things that happen on the back end to get a lot of these guys into custody. But being down there now, seeing how they get all the information and the work that gets put in to find these guys and get them off the streets when they're causing problems, it's an eye opener, and it's a lot of fun. Looks like some schools are just getting out.
That it is.
2237, I'll be checking all the...
Nice day for people to be out walking around.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for spring.
2261, Tango, go.
Just means that as we get closer to summer, the evenings get longer. You're pretty bright out, and you think you should be going home, going to bed.
Yep.
It's still sunny at 7 o'clock.
My youngest daughter came upstairs the other day at dinner time, and she's like, "It's still light outside." The days are getting longer, which is good. It's good for weekends when I'm up at the cabin. I want to be out fishing or sitting outside.
Yeah.
And stay out a lot later.
What do we got coming up? Super Bowl's coming up.
Super Bowl is Sunday.
Can't say I care who wins.
I don't either. My wife's excited about it. She's more into football than I am. I'm more of a hockey fan.
Well, it's the food and the commercials, right?
Exactly.
No, let's not talk hockey. The Wild are kind of in a slump.
Well, the Wild have been in a slump for a few years, but I'm still a loyal.
What do you mean? We had over 100 points last year.
Yeah, and didn't.
That doesn't. Yeah.
What did we win?
Just because
a playoff game?
it's typical Minnesota fashion that we choke
Yeah.
doesn't mean we didn't have a good year.
Same thing with the Vikings. I worked the last Vikings game, and that was never seen so many disheartened fans leaving. They were all upset.
One game I'm glad I didn't sign up for.
Yeah.
Would have been it was a depressing game.
White Bear and Jarvis, Red Bond.
We got people watching from North Carolina and Colorado, Minneapolis. So they're doing a little check-in online as to where people are from.
Yeah, it's slow right now, so there's not much radio traffic as we think of things to talk about, but
It has to be aggravating. They have to keep locking up same individuals with no consequences.
yeah, I'd say the CAT team, we have a lot of rearrests of offenders, whether adults or juveniles. Can it be frustrating? Yeah. But I leave that up to the bosses to kind of deal with, the people that kind of run the justice system to figure out. It's not going to change how I do my job.
Yep.
That person for some reason is released for whatever reason and they commit another crime. My job is to make sure they answer for that and have their day in court. But I don't let that, I don't know how that bothers you. mean, for the citizens, yeah, it's frustrating because you see the same people over and over, stealing people's cars, running around with guns, big people, but nothing I say or do is gonna change that.
Nope.
It's up for you guys. We answer to the citizens, so get that plate.
What do you got?
Florida plate. Try to flip a Huey, but
Too many.
huh?
Too many vehicles.
Kind of. Just kind of doing it. It's a Florida plate. Just a heads up. I assume it's gonna come back as a rental. Most do. There's no way ready. Truck with his. I could understand passing him at a slow rate. But did he run that red light?
That's a good question.
Clear.
Right.
2037 gonna go check Speedway.
822.
And I'll be in the area checking.
Is it BAU or 8AU?
That's tough to tell. 8AU, try that. Try the other. No, click it again. Click F12.
Hey, from
What's that?
advising that we do have a 911 hang up at the mountain.
And it's a rental car, isn't it? So, kind of keep an eye on them.
You guys ever get pulled over by a marked unit?
Have we? Yes. It has happened.
Yes.
Coming and going from work, state patrol pulled me over, but I was in a pretty unmarked. I think I was actually on the way to bring my vehicle in the shop. I had a headlight out, so
I have not been pulled over in my squad
yeah.
yet.
On my way into work, I want to say it was still pretty dark out heading in, but they did their job. Super respectful. Wearing unmarks can happen. Nothing to get mad about. So, patrol guys have a tough job. Not only are they taking calls for service, they're out doing traffic. They're looking for, active crimes occurring, where they're the stolen vehicles, people selling drugs, a slew of things. So they kind of have to be proficient in everything. So
2476.
that would never upset me.
2476.
It's kind of funny though. They walk up to the window and they're like, "Oh,
yeah.
it's a squad car." Yeah.
So, okay.
5285.
Yeah, Andrew brought up the day that the helicopter drew attention to Bob's Durango,
Yeah.
and Bob turned his lights on.
It can happen. Sometimes you're just trying to get in position with a stolen and stuff, and again, the state helicopter is really good at checking driving behavior, and must have seemed out of the ordinary, and
Yep.
flick of the lights lets them know it's a cop. So
79 degrees in Southern California. That sounds wonderful.
tell them we're on our way. We'll book
Yeah,
our tickets.
We're coming.
We are starting to get nicer weather. It's kind of sad. I built a hockey rink this year in my backyard for my kid, and I can't say we've gotten as much use out of it. It's either been super cold or now super warm. So
Yep. I snowblowed off the pond at my house for a birthday party, and we got so much snow the next day I didn't bother going back out to snowblow it off.
how long we got going? An hour. No worries. doing a great job at reading the comments.
40s in Kansas City as well, and in Wisconsin. 77 in northern Florida.
Well, I wish I was in Florida right now by a pool. What do you think?
Copy.
I don't know. It's been a lot the last couple days since you guys have been updated, so we don't want to rehash things that have been talked about.
Yep. Just a lot of stolen vehicles happening overnight, daytime. A lot of them being recovered as well.
A lot of guns, just in general, being recovered by a lot of different agencies. So it's definitely something we keep an eye on, especially in stolens. We do see a trend. They do have a higher likelihood to have a handgun on them or a weapon in those vehicles, because you don't steal a vehicle just to go to the grocery store.
No.
A lot of them kind of use it for other avenues. Kind of a entryway into higher crimes, I would say.
Yep. I did see earlier today someone had asked about the puppy that was thrown out onto the road. It's doing well. It's being taken care of by one of our employees. I don't know if they're planning on fully adopting it or if they're just fostering it until it's better and it'll go up for adoption. I'm not positive.
From my understanding, the GoFundMe is up there. That puppy is set for life.
Good.
So that's the next step. Hopefully, finding a good home for him. Jesus. So yeah, I still can't believe he was in the condition he was.
And with how cold it was overnight, and, there's a lot of animals out there too. So
in the alley, a group of about 8 to 10 people.
I was surprised to see him
What was that called?
still alive.
358 Campbell 334. You can just
2476.
Of course, as soon as we leave, there's now a fight on the east side. Let's see. 8 to 10 people. One female has a cane.
Oh boy.
A bunch of females and one male. I mean,
Beat him up, huh?
well, maybe they all know him.
Could be. Danny said, go over to Pennsylvania westbound off of 35. There's a gray Ford pickup sitting there. Flat tires. The front's all smashed. And check it out for me.
Sure.
We will head over that way. Yes, Tahoe does have a will to live. Who are we talking with? You're talking with Thomas Eaglestrom and James Chen. We're both deputies with Ramsey County. Thomas is in the CAT unit, and I am in the intelligence unit.
It should almost you should be able to tell whose voice it is and then pop up Thomas.
Thomas.
I know a lot of people are saying when me and Miller rode together, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? They said our voices blended together, so try not to confuse you.
Yeah, you guys do something pretty similar.
Should I talk like this?
Well, no, Mike is not driving. Mike had some meetings today.
You're with the CAD team today. We'll try to I think the goal is to get different ones out of us so you can kind of meet us all, meet the personalities. cycle through. We got other guys working the street digging for us as well. But it is a good sign, 2 o'clock on a Wednesday. Not much going on. Except sounds like some ladies might be fighting over a guy.
2235.
We'll kind of monitor that, but they got enough squads going.
2235.
And we're not even close.
Transporting 120 mil from Ramsey High School to 1587 Main Street.
It's a fancy Santa Fe. So we'll go check out that truck. A lot of the times they're involved in accidents. If it's state, they're waiting for tows. Or people get in accidents, hit things, and leave their cars there. I don't know why.
It does happen.
I don't know why people do that, because I wouldn't want to come back and my car is just randomly gone.
Right?
Because it is going to get towed.
It's either towed or stolen.
334, not finding anything in the alley.
Copy.
Sorry, just reading
No, it's fine.
a couple of text messages.
Chin's not only here reading your guys' comments, trying to help me with things to talk about, but he's also got to monitor his phone because there's people always reaching out to him throughout the department and Metro for info. So
That's another thing that opened my eyes getting into the Intel unit, is that people from all around, agencies from all around, will call for assistance on things. Requests, checking to see if they have someone letting us know they have someone in custody, to see if we've had contact with them and things of that nature. So
we got to mute it real quick. I got to take a call. Can you mute it real quick?
where's the mute button thing?
I got
I don't
it.
even know if I can reach
We'll
it.
be right back. Sorry about that. That was another one of our intel guys. We're just digging into something right now. Hopefully we can turn it into something bigger, but just following up on some leads. Some certain vehicles that have popped up in our counties, so.
No, we don't. We don't have to have our vehicles cleaned every day like the fire departments do, but we tend to get them washed quite often. Get the salt off of them.
Especially if we're going live. We don't want a dirty windshield, but sometimes the advantage is having a dirty unmarked because you blend in. Maybe that's just me thinking I blend in.
Do we ever go over to the west side?
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't today because in the past we seem to have connection issues. So west side, when you're saying that, you're meaning down off of Robert, across the river, not the West District, which is going to be like Frogtown. Yeah, we do get over there. Humboldt High School. It's definitely a little pocket. It's kind of off the beaten path, but we try to get everywhere in St. Paul, and essentially anywhere that stolens are active.
Well, we're not Bob and Pat, but it's Michael Harris's birthday. So happy birthday.
There we go.
I'm 10-8. I'll take the
I can't read
Sorry.
the comments. We're bouncing around too much.
Request to assist to check an area of apartments
These lovely
for drug
roads.
use around minor children.
It's about 2:10. I think we'll go a little longer. Try to stretch it till, see if we can find something.
Tree says, I want to ask you to check on a vehicle that has been in place since before Thanksgiving. How can I get that into you? Patrice, you can, if you live in St. Paul, you can call St. Paul's non-emergency as well and let them know that there's a vehicle there and how long it's been parked, and they'll send a squad out to check it.
St. Paul has their own parking enforcement. If you think it's stolen, you know, try to get us the info if you can.
Yep.
We'll go look into it. If you know, if you have reason to believe Kia Hyundai or other scenarios where you think it's stolen, we'll definitely go out. If you think it's just an older car, just abandoned it, St. Paul has a parking enforcement. They deal with that.
There's apparently 217,000 watching this on YouTube right now.
Huh. Nothing exciting is going on this Wednesday.
No.
We monitor excuse me. We monitor statewide channels. Jeez.
You coughed up? Sorry, Thomas is choking on his own air.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. We monitor all statewide channels. If anything's coming into Ramsey, we'll assist. Haven't heard anything today. Makes for a headache some days because we're monitoring a bunch of different channels.
Patrice said Wisconsin plates and expired tabs.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will see a lot of abandoned vehicles in St. Paul. They deal with that quite often. Again, I don't know how people buy vehicles and then just leave them.
Right. Corey was asking if you had a hairball.
Yeah, Cat team had a hairball. That was a good one. Yeah, I don't know what happened. We'll just go with furball.
No, we don't have any sort of cake fine if we make a mistake while working while one of us buys a cake. That's never come up.
If you make a mistake that's worthy to get razzed about, that's kind of punishment enough. But we could bring that up.
Yep.
Kind of be like a point system. But
Do you get calls mixed up?
do we get calls mixed up?
Yes.
I guess
Well, I could say that we were out when we had all the trucks that were stolen, and we went out to assist, myself and Marson, and at St. Paul calling out that someone had ran into a building, and we had assumed that it was part of that as well. It turned out to be another stolen vehicle, but it wasn't until we were clearing the scene that we realized that it was a different stolen vehicle and not the stolen truck. So it can happen, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, St. Paul has 3 channels, radio channels. If several things happen in East, that's, St. Paul 3, that can lead to confusion because now you have 2 different incidents trying to communicate on the same channel. And if dispatch is on break and they have channels tied, now you have 2 different calls running. And sometimes we're human, people make assumptions on calls, and that's where confusion can come to. And one thing in law enforcement, never assume anything, because you're probably going to be wrong.
Yep.
I feel like there's a lot more traffic this time of the day right now.
Yeah.
The highway looks decently packed for 2 o'clock.
That's the first nice day. People are probably leaving work early and want to get out and enjoy the sun a little bit, go for a walk. Or...
Maybe we should ask to leave early, go and enjoy the sun.
393.
All right.
Get around to the GDC one.
So again, not much going on. I think the one highlight was that fight that we were out of position on, but it sounds like it was cleared up pretty fast.
Yes, and dispatchers do an amazing job.
Yep.
We have wonderful dispatchers here in Ramsey County that without them we'd be lost.
And critical incidents,
Yes.
Can't say enough. They juggle a lot of info. They wear a lot of hats when they're dealing with those types of calls. And sometimes we may accidentally give bad info or say some confusing things in the heat of an incident. So they do a good job kind of sorting through info.
I'll let you answer this one.
What?
Have either of you ran into a scary encounter? You guys seem very relaxed.
531.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to rehash. I've been in 2 incidents where I've had shots fired at me.
409.
I'd say in my short career. One on the CAT team. I think it was like 2 months into starting, and then one on patrol. Had a bunch of other calls on patrol that kind of make the hair in the back of your neck stand up. But I don't know. Everyone handles stress differently. We talked about this last time too, but I may handle something differently a lot than Chin. We might have the same incident. We could have the same incident happen, and it might affect him more, and that could be to his past history, a slew of things. But my thing I do, I come in every day and try not to think about other stuff. I learn from my mistakes. I learn from incidents. But I try to be as calm as I can. Sometimes when you get amped up and your adrenaline goes, you might not sound calm.
Yep.
So
You sounded pretty calm yesterday when you were chasing the individual on foot.
Yeah. I mean, he was a lot younger than I am. No gear. I for sure thought he was gone.
Yep.
But he slowed down, and respectful person once I took him into custody. So, I mean, that's all you can ask for, right?
Exactly. And I think Michael asked if we had license plate readers. This vehicle does not have a license plate reader on it.
It does.
Oh, it does. My apologies. This one does have a license plate reader on it. There is a few throughout our department as far as the unmarks that have them. My take-home does not have them.
We try to spread them out through the department. Contract cities, down here. Try to utilize them as best we can. So it's a valuable tool. It's not foolproof. You got to check. Just because you get a hit, you got to check it. Can hit for a number of different reasons, and make sure you're not going after a car that you think is just because you heard the ding from the system going off. It's up to us to verify that. I don't operate an LPR very often. Every stolen I find is either by manual, running it by sight, or if there's any pending calls, things like that. So
I had a LPR in my car when I was out on patrol for a while, and it was a good tool, but you have to set it for what you want it to look for. As far as, like Thomas would set his for stolen vehicles. Out on patrol, he set it for pretty much everything: stolen vehicles,
warrants,
being revoked, warrants, etc. Because every car that goes past you is reading the plate, and it'll pop up. So it can be a headache at times, but it is a good tool.
We have a lot of tools at our disposal, and it's just knowing when to use them, how to use them. Just like stop sticks. I think that's one of Bob and Pat's favorite is the stop sticks.
Yes.
If you pop a tire, that car can only go for so much longer.
Especially when the roads were icy.
That's true. Let's see. How about you? You ever had any, you've been in law enforcement longer than I have. So.
I have. I've had incidences, but you learn to deal with it. I know Thomas does, Kyle does. Just my main thing is I try not to take work home with me. It's a job that we sign on knowing that bad things can happen. So once I'm at home with my family, I tend to leave work at work for the most part. I've had a lot of experience with suicidal people in the jail that I've dealt with, people who have attempted suicide in the jail. We've had issues down at the courthouse when I was there. I haven't been shot at, knock on wood.
When it sound the same, your mind sees it differently or remembers it differently.
Yep.
So I know in my instance, at least my first one, I was out of my squad. I remember me and my partner kind of, we're getting on the squad, but we're kind of looking at each other like, are they actually shooting? Granted, they were going 60 miles an hour on a freeway, so I don't think they had enough control to put rounds on our squad, but still. Lives over anything. That's even for this thing. So,
and I think with me and Tom, with having worked in the jail for quite a while. Even Tom's 2 years is a long time. It gives you the ability and calm them, which helps immensely in stressful situations. If you can keep your composure while under stress, it kind of brings the whole issue down.
Yeah, you can't talk to everybody the same. I can't talk to, someone's grandma the same way I'm going to talk to a 20-year-old kid who's living, that lifestyle. To in a certain way, because that kid's probably just going to look at me and just kind of not pay attention.
Yep.
You gotta be able to people. We all have different backgrounds, but I have to at least try to put myself in their shoes when dealing with people. So that's a case by case basis. You just got to be able to adapt to who you're talking to, and that's I don't think you can be taught that.
No.
A lot of COs, at least when if you can't talk to people, you're not going to have a career, you're not going to last.
Yes.
And out on the street too, talk to people and be respectful.
I don't know if you guys can see there. We have some black top, but there's probably a good 2+ inches of snow that was frozen into the St. Paul streets that we are now trying to
Oh, I kind of feel bad for this vehicle. I apologize to anyone in the county garage in advance. It was the streets, not me.
Maybe 972367.
But I don't know. I think we all love our job in the CAD team. Intel, we have fun. Good people. We work for bosses you could ever ask for. Working for a sheriff's office because you are working. I work for the sheriff.
Yep. Tammy, either of you want to get to higher position or another division in law enforcement in the future?
Absolutely. You've been on longer than me, so obviously you're where you're at in your career. I still have 20 some years left in my career before I can retire. So right now I'm just enjoying the job I got, gaining experience, and yeah, I'd love to move up.
I have a little less than 6 years left, and I can retire. We'll see where I'm at in 6 years and what the family's up to, what we decide at that point in time. If I retire and move to a cabin in the middle of the woods, or what we do.
2272.
This is the medics at the shores, 3150 Lexington, apartment 1. They're on route for a 90-year-old female, conscious of breathing.
Yes, we do all work with a great boss and a great team. Bob hired me back in 2003,
2272.
and
we're please don't let him
extremely happy that he came back.
Yeah, you will not find a boss who is out on the street more than some of his guys.
Yes.
He's always in it with us. He leads by example, and that's.
Tell Thomas to pull over.
6921.
Oh, you guys want to see Jim? We'll get him in front of the camera real quick. I can pull over, but yeah, I can't say enough.
Just verifying. Are you
Working with Pat.
From earlier?
All those guys have experienced it and teach us a lot of things. And the best thing we can as young officers is take their experiences, the things they learned, and try not to, repeat past mistakes, and just be open to it. You can't be mad when people critique you, and officers with experience are going to see things that we may not see, and you just got to take it.
Yeah, we had a lot of part-timers.
Hang on one
second.
Affirmative.
4226.
Oh, it's just was an unoccupied.
Okay.
656.
We had a lot of part-timers down at the courthouse that would come in. They were retired from other departments such as St. Paul, North St. Paul, and the experience of working with them and getting their knowledge was massive. I mean, these guys knew how to deal with different issues. When I was a new deputy, it was great to be able to rely on them for things.
All right, Jim. Since you weren't on the poster, someone wants to see you.
I know.
Can't get out. This is Jim Chin, Intel. As I said before, he's the smart guy riding in the car today.
20.
There we go. Now you met me.
How many reserves do we have?
Oh, jeez.
I can't answer that. I think the reserves are ran from our Water Patrol Division. They help a lot with the parks.
Copy vehicle flipped from a Josie Day. Medical being route.
I can't answer that, but we got a lot of good ones. Accidents with injuries. 2 vehicles, 1 flipped downtown.
Go ahead and copy.
It doesn't sound good.
No. Sounds like someone's driving. driving too fast.
637 is going to be apartment 11, 4, and 6.
Copy.
1428.
Sorry, I got messages coming in on my other phone now.
Squad 52 and able to assist 280 on the accident injuries in front of Dorothy Day.
So you're kind of here in traffic
That will be an out.
downtown by the XL where the Wild play.
Between the interstate and
Dorothy Day Center deals with a lot of various things, but it's a homeless facility. People that are in hard times go there. Sounds like there's a two-vehicle accident. One vehicle flipped. Which that's... You never like to hear that.
No.
160 Tango assault. Haha and Dale. Female in a Dodge Charger pointing the gun at him.
Dale and Haha, we have a gun pointing incident. We are going to head that way. Can you pull up those notes?
Let me find her.
squad to construct the accident injuries in front of
I
Dorothy
got
Day.
it. They dispatch.
Go.
So, female Dodge Charger,
Pointed a gun at it.
Henry Sam Victor 383, blue.
Keep your eyes open for Henry Sam Victor 383 blue Dodge Charger.
280.
Happy to see you.
Waiting for the face.
Doesn't look like
230 to different activity calls to assist 55.
no direction of travel.
I'm going to get over to the RO area, so I'm not sure you're taking sit down the block.
Sorry, it's good.
Copy.
Speeds are slowing down to 65.
Was that LT?
That's
Oh, have you?
LTAC 1. I was listening to LTAC 1 earlier today when I got in my car and heard a chase going on and then realized it was in North Dakota.
Moorhead area? Yeah. That happens.
Just
So-
overcrossed on a Costler out of Cottage Grove, Minnesota, early 47 of BMW X1 color. It's going to be wanted for several stops and felony transactions crossing Cottage Grove.
Get back onto 62 East,
62 East, so...
166 if you want to drop back. I'm pit certified.
166.
No, that was his number.
What's that?
That was squad number.
636.
So we got the gun pointing incident, and obviously something on LTAC. So,
into the alleyway, please.
And up at 1261, I'll have a K9 if you need it.
so it's Hennepin County, eastbound 62, so...
Passing Penn.
Passing
Still
Penn.
on 62 East. Traffic is moderate. Speeds are 70.
1432.
Yeah, so that...
2263.
We'll kind of monitor this one, but pay attention, because that could very well end up in our wheelhouse.
Let's see medics at 525 Wilkinson Lane, apartment 101 in North Oaks. They're going to be in route for an 89-year-old male.
Not sure if you guys heard it, but it sounds like Hennepin's chasing one on 62 eastbound from 10.
2270 right. Sounds like they might be getting ready to pick up.
Six, your comes on his way out.
He's taking the exit to 66, turning. It's going to be eastbound on 66.
163 Tango.
66.
Do we know where the comp is?
See how it goes from nothing going on to...
Confirmed. Looks like she just updated. Said he left the scene. We'll come back to the intersection.
terminated.
Okay, terminate, there's a bus.
So as you heard, they're terminating that due to safety
Eastbound on
concerns.
66 towards Reed Drive.
There's quite a bit of traffic out there right now. And just like Thomas said, we can go from a bunch of calls at the same time, just out of nowhere.
Empire is terminating the pursuit at 1433 vehicles last seen eastbound 66th Street at Ray Drive.
I'm trying to monitor this gun pointing incident. There's not... No way.
Hey, so you hit the brake exit.
Car, sir.
They said Thomas said the Q word earlier.
Well, yeah, that's... I mean, if I'm out here working, I'm okay with working, so...
Right, that was right. 510 Indian Prairie. Was he cooking on that?
There's always crimes going on. My goal is just to find them. So if I can be a little superstitious and use the Q word. I will. Right?
Yep.
299.
Use it often.
Oh, Apple Valley.
You're my legs today if something happens. So you are the runner.
You know I'm gonna have a tough time getting out of this car, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm a little squeezed in here.
All right. You stay with the car then.
1435.
So I haven't really heard any updates on this gun pointing incident.
Nope.
No direction of travel.
Just in case this car does show up, it's on the first block north of Arlington.
Cover that, Ben.
Got I'm very good.
Yeah, we have lots of buffering going on. It's kind of that time of the day where people are off work, everybody's on their phones. We'll end up with some lag.
So we'll go a little while longer, try to see what the end result of this call is, and I think we'll call it for today.
Black Chargers, zipping down 454. Union, David, Union, Victor, 454, Union, Victor. Black Charger.
Where?
Never have to make them. 454, Union, Victor, coming back clear, registered to a Javier Hernandez, Hudson, Gold Plate.
People think...
Coming back to a Honda and it's a stolen plate. He's coming back clear. Registered to a last name Hernandez, first name Javier, out of Inver Grove Heights. Copy that. Thank you.
So it's going to be an owner style Charger.
Yep.
Oh, Cheech and Chong made a visit.
You get that occasionally.
Yeah. Stop and try to get their autograph, but...
Linda said that must be a small passenger seat. Who sits there and says, tight fit. Yes, we have a lot of stuff in here as far as the computer and where the mount is. It sits kind of on my lap with my vest on and everything makes it a little bit of a tight fit in here. But if we got to chase someone, I guarantee I can get out quick enough.
I have all the confidence. All right. Huh. So St. Paul must be out with the comm. At this point, all you can do is wait for updates.
Yep.
Get better description, better info, but there's been a little bit of a time delay. Damn.
No, the car in front of us does have a plate. It's just got a smoked cover over it.
Frank William Adam, yeah. Well, the one in an unknown direction, so if they're up there, we'll just take western. What do you think?
Yep.
St. Paul's finest.
He's out looking for the Charger as well.
15 knot, showing me clear. Update that. Western.
So no update, but wads are clearing this call.
163 Tango. 163 Tango. We'll be out with Kilo Alpha Foxtrot 667.
That's the primary in this call. Open for the car, but kind of limited info at this point.
$82.96, $82.95.
I don't know. You know, they always like give you the look.
95.
DOC at Silver Lake in 694. There was a group of 4 juveniles that were on the bridge throwing items onto the highway. I don't have a description, only
Throwing items on the
2
highway.
African American and 2 white kids. Colors no longer in the area. We're looking at a 4 to 5 minute delay.
That's just 95, copy.
All right.
2260.
Not too happy to that.
Well, we were gonna hold on to try to get more info on this gun pointing incident, but sounds like squads are clearing it.
2260.
There's not any pertinent updates,
We have a moment. You call console 27.
so I think we'll be ending here soon.
2453.
Anything
24,
last minute
53.
things you'd like to tell your new viewers, Chin?
No, thanks for riding with us today. It's been entertaining. I hope you guys were able to enjoy today with us, even though there wasn't a whole lot going on, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But it was nice to meet you all today,
61
and
Tango to back.
have a great one.
Yeah, thanks for riding with us. We'll see you soon, I can only imagine. And the goal, as always, is to find some stuff, but if not, we'll try to update you on what we can. Thanks for riding with us.
Metro 3450, press for stall blocking on the ramp, bus 194 to 34.
2271. I can clear if you need me somewhere.
Copy. 6-3, I'll show you clear. 71 to you, sir, for a medical, 5